leadeth me. O blessed thought, O words with heavenly comfort fraught. Whate'er I do, where'er I be, still 'tis God's hand that leadeth me. He leadeth me by his own hand. He leadeth me. His faithful follower I will be, for by his hand he leadeth me. Lord, I would clasp thy hand in mine, nor ever murmur, nor repine. Content whatever lot I see, since 'tis thy hand that leadeth me. He leadeth me by his own hand. He leadeth me. His faithful follower I would be, for by his hand he leadeth me. And when my task on earth is done, when by thy grace the victory's won, in death's cold wave I will not flee, since God through Jordan leadeth me. He leadeth me by his own hand. He leadeth me. His faithful follower I would be, for by his hand he leadeth me. For by his hand he leadeth me.
Hey everybody, welcome to Vespers. We're so glad that you have joined us again this Wednesday evening for a chance for us to gather together and to remind each other that we're not alone. So we'll begin this evening, like we always do, lighting this candle and celebrating the presence of Christ, who is in us, among us, and beyond us. And this evening, also remembering all of those in our community of faith and those who are beyond our community of faith who are suffering as we are with them in spirit, even if we can't be with them presently, physically as well. Well, tonight began our prayer meeting, and I didn't get to be at a prayer meeting this evening because we were setting up for this, but I'm sure that things went well, and so if you'd like to join for prayer meetings on Wednesdays, those are going to continue to happen via Zoom, so it's a chance for you to be able to talk back and to share with each other prayer requests and to pray for one another as well at 6:30, and you'll find links to that in our newsletter at the very top. Also, you'll find a link at the top of our newsletter tomorrow for another special Zoom group that is going to happen on Sunday. On Sunday, Mark will not be preaching, but we will be hearing from an activist preacher who has already pre-recorded the sermon. Her name is Nicola Torbett. And after morning worship, we'll have a discussion via Zoom to explore the important issues of economic justice that she will bring up and address in her sermon. So you'll find a Zoom link in your newsletter tomorrow, and we'll also put one in the email that goes out on Sunday morning to remind folks about the service, so that you'll be able to join in for that discussion after worship service on Sunday. We really hope that you can join, and that'll be a great time for us to be able to tease out some of the important implications of this sermon as well. Well, I don't know about you, but for me, I'm not great with interruptions, and I feel like lately, most things have been an interruption. Our lives have all been interrupted and changed so often lately in so many different ways. I found myself kind of sitting out on the back porch since we've cleaned things up out there and working on the house during the mornings, eating breakfast. And I'll be out there, and then in between classes and stuff, the kids will come out sometimes, and we'll have an opportunity to maybe talk after breakfast or between their classes, and sometimes I'll sit out there and work. And so I'm finding joy in the midst of the little snippets of time that we may have missed beforehand, little snippets of time that we didn't have, and learning just how beautiful and wonderful some interruptions in our lives can be. Not all interruptions are great things, but some of them maybe we can see the beauty that is there as well. So I hope that maybe in your interruptions this week, some of them at least, you might be able to see the life of God that is moving all around us and in us and through us as well. Well, tonight we have the opportunity to talk with Gwen Hart. I'm really excited that we get a chance to talk with Gwen. She is recently retired from a career at Marriott, where she did a lot of event planning and working with that for years there. She's a deacon at Central, and she's also on the board for Flockers Fighting Cancer. So I think we'll probably hear a little bit about that as well. So now, if you would, let's go together and talk with Gwen. Hey Gwen, how are you doing?
Hey Aaron, all good over here.
Hey, good, it's good to see you. I see off in the corner you've got somebody with you.
I do, he's right up here. This is Frankie.
Hey Frankie, how are you?
Frankie's not happy about me picking him up, I don't think. But he's always very close anytime there's a Zoom or anything, because he doesn't like my attention diverted.
Yeah.
Frankie's 17.
Oh, 17, looking good. So
he may hang here, he may not. Who knows? You may see a tail.
I know all about that. So it makes me feel right at home. So tell us a little bit about how things have been going for you, Gwen, since we've had to social distance.
Well, I retired right before all of that stuff happened. Like right before.
Yeah.
And that's been So it's been kind of cool. I really highly recommend retirement if you have the opportunity to do so. But yeah, I do a lot of things with Mom. I do Zoom. I mean, I'm very busy. I'm very busy. I've got Zooms. I got 3 sets of friend Zooms that I do. I've got church things that you're on most of those. A couple of committees there. I've got a couple of boards that I'm on. I've got flocking. It's flocking season,
Yeah.
So we've been going out, putting flamingos in people's yards and that kind of thing. So yeah, and I've also kind of taken up a little hobby with, and this kind of gives some cred to Pat Ingram, who is so talented with the homemade cards she makes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So I thought, well, I'm going to try to do a couple of those. And so I've tried that. I went out to get the stuff and walked out of Hobby Lobby. I won't tell you how much I spent to do like one card I was going to do. But anyway, I've been kind of puttering around with that. And Mom and I have probably worked, 40 jigsaw puzzles.
Oh, wow.
And then we've been doing a family night. We're trying to do a family night with Donald, Sheltina, and the boys once a week, and we do a puzzle that night. They come over and eat, and then we do a puzzle, and so that's kind of fun. So I'm busy. I got stuff.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. So you found a lot of stuff to get into,
Yeah.
even with all this going on. That's great. Yeah. So
and exercising. I'm exercising, going to the gym. So
yeah. Oh, that's
retirement is good.
Yeah, people should consider that, if they
Really? Tell them to call me. I highly recommend.
Oh, that is great. So now you just retired. You want to tell us a little bit about your job, about what you did, over at Marriott?
Yep. I was with Marriott for 38 and a half roughly years. Actually, this week would have been 39 years, but I have always been in some form of catering or events. I actually opened this hotel, the Griffin Gate, in 1981, and from here I went to Chicago, and then Minneapolis, and then Tampa, and then came back to Lexington. I've been back to Lexington. All but 10 years of the 38 plus have been in Lexington. So,
oh, wow.
But it's been great. I had so many opportunities. Like I said, it was in some form of catering or events, in everything that I've done. Met some really cool, famous people over time, but we didn't have camera phones back in the day, so I don't have pictures of all of them. But I do have pictures of some. I mean, I was in Chicago when the Bears won the Super Bowl, and we all and those players were in the hotel all the time. Some of those famous players from that day, Jim McMahon and Walter Payton and Singletary and Dent, and I got to meet Ditka. I did get a picture with him.
Oh, that's awesome.
Years later, Jim McMahon, who was the quarterback of that team, was here playing in a golf tournament. And so I talked to the tournament director, and I said, I'm such a fan of Jim McMahon. So I did get a picture with him years later.
Yeah.
But so that was cool. Arnold Palmer, I got to meet him when I was in Tampa. We did a golf tournament there. Gary Player, John Wooden.
Oh, wow.
Patrick Swayze. He's very short. Was very short.
Really? I had no idea.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Just it was fun. I've had a lot of fun. I've got friends in every city I've been in, and still friends, and still get together with some of them. And every year we do an annual trip with a couple of them, and it was a great experience. I think everybody should work in the hospitality industry or have their kids work in the hospitality industry for at least 1 year before you go out, because you see everything about people.
Right. Yeah, I bet. Well, yeah, you get to see people, and when they're oftentimes in a different, not their normal context either. So that has to be interesting to encounter people when they're kind of out of the space that they're normally in too.
Yeah.
Well,
I got one you might know. I know you're not into the sports thing. We talked about that.
I did. I do know some of those names, though. I mean, I know who Mike Ditka is, and Arnold Palmer. He invented a wonderful beverage.
He did. He did do that. I don't know if he did it, but thank goodness for his name. But no, when I was in Minneapolis, I did Bob Dylan's daughter's wedding.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, that is awesome.
Yeah. He
Wow.
he was not very involved in the planning, and he and his wife were divorced at the time, but he was there, and it was done, and they're a Jewish family, and it was all done in total Jewish, the whole thing, Hava Nagila, and there was a table of at least 10 or 12 rabbis, and they did a special thing, and I thought for sure, we were all so hoping he was going to get up and sing with the band, but he never did. He was kind of, he hung out, he had bodyguards with him, and so this was back in the 80s.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I was trying to figure out like what section of his life he would have been in at that point in time when that happened.
I was in Minneapolis in 88 and 89, so it was one of those 2 years.
That's really cool. I had no idea that you had been in so many different places with your job as well. So that's really cool to get to travel around and see all these
back in the day, you had to move up, and then as the company grew, then you didn't. And customers said, "How come I get to know somebody so good?" And then, they go. So then they were okay with you staying, which has worked for me just fine.
Yeah. Well, that's great. Well, we're glad that you landed back here. So that's great.
Me too.
So tell us a little bit about how you made it to Central then, in the midst of all this.
Well, actually, Donald and Sheltina found Central first. They were looking for a church, and so Mom and Dad were going still to Frankfurt at the time, and I was a little in limbo there for a while. I'm not going to lie. But,
we've all been in limbo, I think.
Okay, so I was a little in limbo, and so they found this church, and they said you should come. I'm like, whatever. So I told Mom didn't want to leave the church in Frankfurt, but she didn't want to drive to Frankfurt every Sunday, and I said, okay. If I'll go try this church out with you. If you want to go try this church out, we'll go try it. I'll go too, because Dad was he was in early onset Lewy dementia at that point. So I said I'll go with you, and so I did. And then I didn't mean to go for very long, really. I was just going to go to appease. I really was just going to go to appease Mom. She thought the same thing. She didn't, and but then we kind of occupied that back row, and then the family kind of expanded from the back row. Well, we were all sitting back there, and then I don't know, y'all just kind of grew on me.
Right. Oh, that's awesome. That's great. I love it. I didn't mean to stay very long.
And then when joining, I mean, Mom and Dad joined, and I said, and then, okay. So here we are.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's great.
And the fact that I'm Greek, and I don't know what that says for you all, but.
I think it says great things, Gwen. We're so glad, We need some folks with, you fit right in with hospitality, Yeah. And
not so much smarts, but if you can't be smart, be funny. That's what I always say.
Well, that's great. I'm so glad that you ended up at Central, and that somehow you managed to get stuck with us a little longer than you planned on at the beginning. That's wonderful.
Well, I don't know.
So
I don't know who's stuck with who, but.
Well, tell us a little bit. Has there, in the midst of our quarantine and stuff like that we've been doing, it sounds like you've managed to really keep busy during this time. Have there been any things in particular that have kind of kept you going or helped you stay sane in the midst of all this?
Well, yeah, I would say spending more time with family. When I was working, hours are kind of rough in the event business because, and then it seemed like I was always running from this to that or this to that, and sometimes working weekends. And of course, the family's busy because now I've got time. I get excited about little things. I think I might have a green thumb. I'm not sure, but I've got these peace lilies that I repotted, and now they're growing like crazy, and they haven't grown in years. Stuff like that. But yeah, spending more time with family and appreciating the smaller things. I think just the little things like watching the birds or spending the time and taking my time with drinking my coffee in the morning, and just little stuff like working the jigsaw puzzles with Mom. I think I've got an addiction. I'm not sure. Yeah. We start one and it sits here, and then Mom will come back down and she'll say, "You worked most of it." I'm like, "Oh, didn't I? I didn't mean to. Sorry." I went by it. I'm like, I put in 2 or 3 pieces, and I don't know.
Yeah.
But we have fun doing that as a family too when they come over.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that's great. Yeah, well, it is. I think it's interesting. Different folks I know have found this experience now of physically distancing and all this. To some folks, I think have more time. Some folks have less time. Who knows where people land on it? But I feel like it really has encouraged me to stop a little more, to pay attention a little more, and to cherish the people around me a little more than I have before. Well, you do. Yeah. And
even friends that live far away on some of these Zoom calls, I mean, we would have never connected probably as much as we do, the people who live away. I mean, I've got one Zoom call where I got people all over the place, and we probably wouldn't have done that, except for this. And it's now we're part of people. We're all a part. Each group that I'm Zooming with, we're all more involved in each other's lives than we ever were before. When getting through things, and that keeps us sane too. Here's Frankie. Yeah. That keeps us sane too, because you got somebody to sound off of, and it's like these friends are sort of all from different parts of, some are college, some are Marriott friends, some are friends from here because we didn't. But we've gone out to a few patios here. Some of the friends here, and my best friend, my college roommate, and I are still best friends, and she and her husband have a pool, and that's quite nice.
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
So spending some time there, and it's I feel very blessed that I have great family and friends.
Yeah.
And church friends, of course.
Right.
And flocker friends. I mean, there's the flockers too. I can't forget that.
Yeah. Well, tell us a little bit about how flocking's going this year, since everything. I guess the masks probably work out well for flocking, and maybe there may be some folks who don't know about flocking. I guess we talk about it at church quite a bit, so I assume folks know. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. Well, flocking, if you don't know what it is we are helping those who are going through cancer and having a hard time. Like the money we raise, let's say somebody is having to come to treatments from Grant County, and they got to come to UK, and that's affected their job, and they just need a little help getting over the hump with gas or groceries or something like that. So we raise money for that, and then we have some of the workers will send us requests. We have a whole request process, and then we'll go as a board, we'll vote on those, on how much to give and that kind of thing. As far as the flocking itself, we did a little different this year in that we're doing it for a longer period of time, and we're due Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays, unless of course somebody has a special day that they want. And it's $1 a flamingo, and you can do multicolor, or you can do pink flamingos. I personally am a purist, and I like the pink flamingos best. But a lot of people seem to be enjoying the multicolored flamingos, and they send in the order. And then we figure out all via these group texts and who's available to flock Tuesday, who can flock. And then we kind of go that thing, and we get together, get the birds together, and we'll try to break up into groups. Like we might do 2 groups, depending on how big the orders are. A minimum order is 30. But I think the biggest one we've had 100 order. So we divide into groups, and then we go out at dark like ninjas and think of some people's yards. And we did get caught once recently by a church member, but we won't say who. And But yeah, it's a lot of fun. That gives us a chance to get together.
Yeah.
We usually don't do any more than 3 or 4 of us to a car, and we've got black masks, and of course we're in all black, and off we go. But we're I think Tricia sent us a note this morning, and she said that we'll be passing the $2,000 mark for this season, and we'll be flocking through October. First week in October. I can't remember the exact date.
Oh, well, that's awesome.
We've got a website, flockersfightingcancer.org, and Facebook page, Flockers Fighting Cancer. You can do that kind of thing. So,
flock your friends.
Flock your friends.
Yeah.
Flocking good time.
That's awesome. Well, that's great. I'm so glad that you guys are still able to do that, even with everything that's going on. That's important stuff to continue, and we appreciate all that you do for the community, for folks in the congregation and far beyond with that work. That's great stuff. So thank you, Gwen. Well, is there anything that has happened during this time, or any way that maybe your life has changed? Anything that you feel like you've learned something or seen something a little differently that you'd like to carry forward through this? Beyond whenever things maybe get back to a little more normal than they are now.
Well, again, appreciating the little things, and I think. I might have a little more patience. Not sure. I still get mad at people for not putting their grocery carts up or using their turn signal, but
right.
Just. But I think I might have a little bit more patience, and I've actually tried cooking a few things. I might try to expand that skill. Lack of skill a little bit more, and just try to reach out more. Proactively to friends just to check in, or to church members just to check in, because I appreciate when people just want to check in with me. So, and especially since that a friend of mine warned me when I retired. He said, because he was with his company for a lot of years too when he retired a few years ago, and he said, "I'm going to warn you." He said, so many people have identified you with Marriott for so many years. He goes, all of a sudden you lose that identity. And he said, be mentally prepared for that. So, so I'm mentally prepared for that. But, a lot of people, the hotel business is so different now. And so many of my friends have been furloughed and everything. But I guess maybe I'm finding a new identity.
Yeah. Oh.
But not brand new. I mean, I can't lose me altogether. Sorry, but
right. Yeah, well, that's important. That so many times our identities are locked into our jobs, our careers, or those things. So when those things shift, it does make it difficult sometimes to find.
But it is kind of fun sometimes when people out of the blue don't realize I've retired, and they send me a message on Facebook and say, "Can you help me with a room somewhere?" I'm like, "No, I can't."
Right.
No privilege.
Yeah, sorry.
Obscure people do that sometimes,
Yeah. Well, it's so great to talk with you, Gwen. It's so great to hear about how things are going with you. Do you have? We talked a little bit about about maybe if you had something to share, like a poem or something like that. Have you got something to share with us today?
I do, from an undiscovered comedy writer.
Really? Anyone we know?
Possibly. So I have a little poem here. Our lives are so very different now. Things just aren't the same. Healthy at home, social distance and Zoom, can't tailgate or cheer at the game. Church service is now enjoyed from the couch. Nothing about it is formal. Is it just me, or is anyone else tired of hearing about the new normal? Hannity, Faraday, Fox News, Twitter, Facebook, Insta, MSNBC. Someone's offended by whatever is said. Can we just get along and try to agree? So glass half full during an unsettling time. I look at the positive things. I've spent more time with family and the joy their company brings, usually. So what, so what can I do in this time of angst to brighten up this place? I am only one person, you know. Can I impact the whole human race? Can't eat that elephant all in one bite, but I can pray from my heart every day for peace among people from all walks of life and for barriers to just melt away. For the safety of our first responders and the wisdom of doctors who heal, for hearts that are cold and uncaring to be touched with a love they can feel. And I pray that we'll all be together one day when this pandemic has been taken to task. But until that day, let's enjoy virtual visits, and for heaven's sake, wear a mask. I'm Gwen Hart, and I approve this message.
That's awesome, Gwen. I love it. I'm going to need you to send me a copy of that. I think we're going to get some requests for that one. So that is awesome. That is awesome.
Get it now before I'm famous.
I know. Can you, if you can sign our copy, that would be great too.
Okay.
Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Well, thanks, Baron, and I love what all you do for us to put all this stuff together. I think this is great. Everything that you do, your songs, your music, your talent, you're good. You got skills.
Well, thank you, and I'll send you that PayPal, those PayPal funds directly after that for saying that too. So your check is in the mail. No, it's a joy. It's wonderful, and it's great to get to talk with you, and it's so wonderful, like, you know, to get to turn on Skype and just have a conversation for a little bit, and you know, I mean, my goodness, you know. So thank you so much for doing this. Yeah. Well, we hopefully will get to see you before too long, and we'll tell people to watch out their windows at night to see if somebody happens to be running around in their yard like ninjas. Okay, don't. Okay.
Ring doorbells are killing us.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. So yeah, turn off your doorbells. Well, thanks so much, Gwen, and we'll see you soon, hopefully. Okay.
Okay. Great.
Okay. See you later. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much, Gwen, for taking time out to share with us. It was such a joy to get to talk with you. Thank you for all that you do for our congregation, for the joy that you bring, because it really was truly a joy to get to hang out with you. And tell Frankie we said hi as well. I know what it's like to live with a feline in the house. Wonderful company, but sometimes a little demanding as well. But please don't forget, this week we'll be back on Sunday with our regular worship service at church. Look for that link in your newsletter so that you can join into our discussion afterwards via Zoom. And then again next week, continuing as well with our prayer meeting on Wednesday, and also various other Zoom groups that are meeting throughout the week, and you'll see a few more of those coming up pretty soon too as well. But you can find out more about that at lexcentral.com/Zoom. You can read our prayer requests at lexcentral.com/pray, or you can send us a prayer request at pray@lexcentral.com. So we look forward to hearing from you and keeping in touch as best as we can. Before we go tonight, though, let's sing a song together. How about Amazing Grace? Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now am found. Was blind, but now I see. Through many dangers 'twas grace that brought me safe thus far, and grace will lead me home when we've been there 10,000 years, bright shining as the sun. We've no less days to sing God's praise than when we first begun. Amen. Thanks so much for being here this evening. We look forward to seeing you again on Sunday. Go in peace.